Hey everyone, Stefan here from Racecentric, and we have something special for you today. Today we're going to be unboxing some standard suspension, that's right, that's the brand, standard suspension coilovers for a BMW E90 335xi model that we're going to be building here on the channel. Let's go ahead and unbox it. So we got the first layer open here, and it looks like Standard has sent us a little bit of goodies for all of you guys. So for anyone who purchases Standard suspension through Racecentric, it's gonna get something like these keychains or air fresheners, for example. Also a nice catalog for you guys to come and check out. Actually, we got a few of them. So if you want to take one, feel free when you swing by Racecentric. This will go over all the different lines that we offer. Oh, and look, we even got a Standard suspension flag. Check that out. We're gonna have to put this up somewhere. Very cool. All right, now let's get to the good part. And there we are. So, more boxes, more goodies. So we have our coilover adjustment wrenches, some Allen keys, presumably for the lock rings, sticker pack, and some top knobs for the dampening adjustment on the top of the damper. Very cool. Based off the size, I'm kind of thinking this is a rear shock, but we'll see right now. Ooh, look at that. So right off the box, these are actually the fronts, but here we have the brand new sway bar and links. They are adjustable, super nice. We'll get those open in a second. And the best part right there, a fully assembled coilover with camber plates ready to go. So let's get this out of the bag. Really, really nice finish on the coating on the spring, which we can also opt for Swift springs if we want to. I do love this right here, the numerics all along the shock body. Unboxing the second one here, we can see that the packaging is really good. So between the 1, 2, 3 layers of cardboard and the little rubber stoppers here on top of the strut towers, that really helps ensure that this setup is gonna make it to your door without poking to the box or getting damaged. All right, moving on to the rear now. Same packaging here. Nicely done. And there we go. So this box is housing the rear struts. Since this car, the E90 335s, have a divorced setup suspension as standard, that is what we opted for on the car. If you really want a true single, meaning the spring looks just like this, it's tied onto the shock body, you can option for that. So if you do want to order a true single coilover for the rear on any of your BMWs, that is something that Standard can do. And moving on to our last box, it should be these springs in here. Let's see, yep, there we go. So we have some links and the springs. So let's get these unwrapped and get the full setup laid out on the table here. Now that we've got it fully unboxed and laid out, here is a good picture of exactly what is included in your box when you ordered Standard suspension. So let's go through the book here really quick. Give you a little timeline on Standard suspension, about them, where they're from, production, some application guides, product features, plenty of English in here too. But when we start looking at the coilover lines, we have the GR1, the ground racing level 1. That's what the GR stands for, is ground racing. The GR3, the GR5, And then we start going into the inverted designs, the IND, the INE, adding an external reservoir, and the ENR, and the EIR, until eventually you get to the off-road. So, now that we've been through this and we figured out what model we have, let's go through the owner's manual, because that's really important to go through on this suspension, given that there's so many intricate little pieces. Now, a lot of suspension companies, they include an owner's manual or they don't. And most times the owner's manual doesn't actually help you understand your suspension. So let's go through it. So here we have it. It's all in English, very easy to understand. Some before installation warnings, how to do your adjustments, according to what type of suspension you have, whether you're McPherson strut setup or double wishbone, what the adjustment settings are for dampening, which direction is which, and so on. So definitely go through your owner's manual. It does describe exactly what you purchased. So let's go over the front coilovers first. Let's take a closer look. Here at the bottom, we can see a manufacturer seal. Definitely don't tamper with that. That will void your warranty. Moving up a little bit, we have our sway bar attachment point. And this is also the collar that we are going to adjust if we want to adjust height. It's our lock ring for our height adjustment. Tighten it back down. Hand tight right now. We can adjust preload. Make sure that if you don't understand preload, do some research or have a professional suspension installer set it up for you. Obviously, the nice spring, full shock body, scaled shock body. Going to the top hat, we have a nice pillow ball mount and a full camber plate. The Allen included with the setup is for tightening and loosening these bolts here to allow you to slide the camber plate forward and back. Standard also includes these adjustment knobs, which I really like these because they thread in to the shock body. So we insert like so, actually thread them on there like that, and then they're really not going anywhere. Other setups, they're just kind of like an Allen key or like a little knob like this. You shove it in there, but then they just jiggle around, they move up and down, they're not secure. With this, it's nice and secure. You can even tighten it down a little bit. I wouldn't go too tight, but now I can adjust my dampening for the shock to be harder or softer. We have 12 levels of adjustment on both the front and the rear shocks. So now we move on to the rears. Also includes a pillow ball. It's nice and tight, so I can't really move it by hand. But again, we have an adjustment collar here, and that allows us to move the entire shock body up and down to adjust the rear shock body length of the vehicle. And we pull the dust boot down here, we can see our bump stop, standard branding, everything fitted really nice. And at the bottom, this is really nice because on a lot of setups, they have the dampening up here at the top, the dampening adjustment, but on the standard setup, we are going to be able to adjust it from the bottom here. So instead of keeping your trunk liner out of the car, if you're a more street driver that eventually goes to the track or casually goes to the track, you can just come underneath the car and adjust your dampening this way. And like I mentioned earlier, we have a divorce setup in the rear of the 335xi. So all your height adjustment in the rear is going to be on this adjuster with this spring. In this case, the spring has we use the factory rubber mount on the car in the control arm. So this will sit into there. Your adjuster comes on top here. We have a plastic ring here, and that helps the spring to be able to rotate because springs like to rotate under load and whatnot. Without this spring, you're going to be metal on metal, and you're going to hear a lot of ping, 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 ting, ting type noises. So it's very important to make sure you have that plastic ring. Outside of the height adjustment that we have with our lock ring there, they do provide another rubber mount that mates to the body. So we, again, are not metal on metal and reduce noise. If you find yourself adjusting your height on the car, you're going to need your coilover adjustment wrenches. When you've installed them, these should be nice and tight, but we can take our wrench here to tighten or loosen the lock ring, and then when it's installed on the car, spin the whole shock body like so. That will help us to adjust the height. And we're gonna go through that with you guys when we install it on the car. And the last thing you wanna make sure you keep with your purchase of standard suspension is your warranty card. So this is gonna tell you the information about the production date, the production number. Everything is built to order with standard suspension. That's why you're really getting quality. But hang on to this warranty card, because if you ever need to rebuild your shocks, or you have a problem, or there's a part missing in the package or anything like that, this is how Standard is gonna trace your order and figure out if anything is gonna be replaceable under warranty for you. And here's those adjustable sway bar end links again, this time out of the packaging. What's nice about them is one side has a reverse thread and one side has a standard thread, which lets you twist it like so to lengthen or shorten the adjustable end lengths. And the other thing that's nice about them is that they have these flat sections right here, if you look closely, which help you to get a wrench on here and rotate it when it's on the car. So you just break these nuts loose, like so, and then you can twist it using your wrench. Now, all standard suspension is gonna come with a minimum of a monotube design and an iron or 6061 aluminum reinforced bottom bracket and top mount. So standard suspension was founded in 2000 over in Taiwan and is more commonly known in the Asian countries, Japan for example. But we're very happy to have standard suspension as part of the Racecentric team now, because one thing they're very good at is working with drivers like us and our community to tailor make the suspension to our needs. For example, we're bringing the 335i to our local track, the Ridge Motorsports Park, to see what this suspension can do and maybe eventually do some time attack with it. But what we really want to do is see how the suspension performs and be able to tailor it to our needs and our driving styles. And we can do that by getting the data, collecting it, and sending it back to Standard, and they'll then send us either new shocks, springs, dampers, whatever it is, to kind of tailor the setup to our needs. Standard doesn't just do this coilover type suspension, but show you guys something cool here that we are looking to install on our RX-7 build is a hydraulic lift system, as you can see here, as well as an airlift system. And then Standard also in the last decade or 2 decades or so have come a long ways and developed a lot of different products like forced wheel nuts, steering wheel quick releases, even clutch kits and arms. So if you're based in the United States and you're asking, well, where can I get standard suspension? Well, the answer is Racecentric. Give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll be able to help you out for any of your standard suspension inquiries and help you find what is the right setup for your car. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and make sure you stay tuned as we install this coilover setup from Standard Suspension on our BMW E90 335xi. We'll see you next time.